Okay, we're gonna move on to Runaway. I think that one was really long. We got the super happy one. Now who's ready for the really depressing one? I know I am. I'm ready for my voice to sound like I'm crying. I'm ready for the tears to start rolling. Let's go. It was early, and you were on your way to the playground. Lizzie planned on joining you there later. You weren't sure what she was busy with right now. Older kid stuff, you imagined. That was okay. What was forefront in your mind was if Cove might be free to come too. As you walked the familiar street, wondering how you might find your neighbor, he appeared right in front of you, almost as if he was a mind reader.
Hi, can you, play now?
No, sorry. Cove looked strangely serious. It could be an even bigger deal than whatever mystery thing Lizzie had to do. I'm leaving, Aura.
What? Where?
He shifted, and your gaze was drawn to the backpack slung over his shoulders. Cove liked to stuff things into his pockets, from what you've seen, but people sometimes carried bags with them. It hadn't been very attention-worthy until now. The pack was decorated with cartoon waves and dolphins. He gripped one of the straps tightly with his good hand. I just wanted you to know. Cove didn't glance up and meet your eyes. You started to grow worried.
Oh, can I go too?
He looked up at that. You hoped he would agree, but instead he shook his head. I'll come back, though, sometime. I don't know when, but we can do stuff then. He directed a fragile smile your way. Without another word, Cove turned on his heel and started to walk away.
Wait!
He kept going. His focus wasn't on you anymore.
What was that about?
You watched as his back grew smaller and smaller, then you realized that you were still standing in the middle of the sidewalk. You thought about your earlier plan of playing at the park. Suddenly, it didn't seem as fun anymore. Not without Cove, but it wasn't like you could force him to play with you. He had things to do. You stayed there. You could play at the park some other time. It wasn't like it was going anywhere, and you couldn't bring yourself to leave like this. You didn't move from your spot. You just continued to look on, quietly. It didn't take long to realize that he was just going up the street. You were positive there was nothing good over there. Not the park, or the beach, or the store street, or his house, or anything. You hesitated, unsure if Cove would want to be bothered, before running after him anyway. He was new. He might not know what you did. You slowed down once he reached his slide. He glanced at you from the corner of his eye and frowned. Go away, Aura.
But there's nothing out that way.
His mouth twisted further. He didn't appreciate your warning. I'm still going.
Why? What are you, doing?
Walking.
Why can't I come with you if you're just walking?
Cove let out a deep sigh. You got the feeling that he was starting to get mad at you. I told you I'm leaving. I'm gonna be gone for a while.
I still want to go with you.
You can't.
Why not?
Cove came to a sudden stop. You almost kept walking ahead of him because you weren't expecting it. My dad doesn't know. If you come, you'll get in trouble when he finds out. You felt a knot start to grow in your stomach.
You're not supposed to be leaving?
His expression was grave. He shook his head. Dad isn't home right now. I left him a letter so he won't get confused when he gets back. But you can't tell anybody about this, okay? You can pretend you never saw me.
Oh, you still want to go? I don't care if I get in trouble. Don't do it all by yourself.
Cove's hard expression wavered. You could tell that he hadn't expected you to say that.
Really?
Really? You don't think it's a bad idea or something?
It might be a bad idea, but...
His lips curved into a smile.
Okay.
Okay, you can come. You grinned, pleased that he gave in so easily. You thought it might take longer since he was so set on going alone. You turned a bit in the middle of the sidewalk, and so did Cove. When he saw, you pointed over your shoulder with a thumb.
Let's go to my house first. I can get my backpack.
We can't, sorry.
Don't I need one?
It's not that. I don't want our parents to catch us. Your moms could think it's weird we have bags. They might ask. We don't have a lot of time anyway. He motioned to his backpack, patting it with his hands. Its front bulged out slightly.
It's okay.
Don't worry, I packed snacks. It'll be alright. You wished you could bring your backpack along just to be safe, but his explanation made sense.
Alright, we can leave.
Cove smiled. He seemed to be in much better spirits than when you first ran into him. So, I'm just going to make a point here. I don't like to keep stopping the story. So, in my mindset, I don't think that Aura would even think that running away is what Cove is doing, in this sense. I feel like the character that she is, she would see it as, oh, he's just going to go head out and then come back. He said that was what he was going to do. He didn't, like, Mr. Holden doesn't know he's going, but that's fine. We've been out before. We may get in trouble, but it's fine. We'll be back. How could we get in trouble? My parents knew I was going to the park, so I don't think they'll be mad at me. But, yeah, I just feel like in the moment, I don't think Aura even would, like, socially think that this would be a problem. You were glad. He wasn't always this upbeat. That was fine, though. Otherwise, he wouldn't be Cove. But you liked seeing him smile. Cove took the first step, and you mirrored him as both of you ran up the street. You were off into unknown territory. You ran through the first few neighborhoods like that, your feet pounding on concrete. God, my voice just caught in my throat. Sorry. Whenever one of you got tired, you'd take a break for a minute. The moment there was a sound, you'd be off again, in case someone you knew might realize what you were up to. Because of how cautious you were, the two of you didn't run into anyone, not even other kids enjoying the summer. It was like you had suddenly become criminals, always worried if someone was on your tail. As tense as it was, you were still glad when you got the opportunity to take a proper break. Cove waved for you to stop once. You got out of the residential district. The houses disappeared, the broad storefronts taking their place. You were all the way in the business part of town. This was the first time you had come here on foot. Before, one of your moms always drove you to this place in their car. Cove leaned up against a nearby tree and wiped sweat off his forehead. You braced your hands on your knees. You looked over at the road ahead.
We're so far.
A strange expression flickering across Cove's face at your words made you stop. He nodded. You spoke again, still huffing. My
Moms bring me and Lizzie here for shopping.
Yeah, I've never been here before. Not without Dad. He looked pleased by that. We're doing good. It's not even nighttime. You were still unsure. You thought it was right to have gone with Cove, but being so far from your neighborhood made you feel even more weird about what was happening. Clearly Cove wanted to keep going. For how long, though? You couldn't want to keep walking forever. Cove slid his backpack off and unzipped it. You watched curiously as he stuffed a hand in and searched for something. To your delight, he pulled out 2 juice boxes and offered you one, too. He is just a kid. Here.
Thanks, Cove.
The two of you took a moment to unwrap the straws and poked them into the special circle part of the box. The juice was warm, but still good. You sighed contently. After your first sip, your throat was beginning to ache from how dry it had gotten. It really had been a while since this all started. As you took another sip of your juice, your gaze drifted to the Cove's bag. He hadn't closed it yet.
What else is in there?
There's still a few juice boxes left. He peered inside and began to list off the items as he spotted them. Can I just say, I love this music. I don't know if I've heard this one before, but it's so jazzy. I don't know if this one's in the soundtrack. I'll have to check. Because I do own the soundtrack. When I bought the DLC, I got that too. And I've been listening to it when I'm working on stuff like editing. And I was like, man, I like this. I like this. I love instrumentals. They're just awesome.
I got some snacks from the kitchen too. Chips, muffins, bananas, candy.
That was already a lot, but he kept excavating more.
I also took a couple of clothes, a flashlight, a first aid kit from my dad's bathroom, and a blanket. Oh, and some money my dad gave me a while ago that I haven't spent yet.
Your mouth made a small O halfway through his lengthy list.
You brought a lot of stuff. I wouldn't have thought to grab a flashlight or a first aid kit.
I told you I was going away. You didn't know what to say to that. The little smile Cove had been wearing earlier was gone by now, like it'd never been there in the first place. He watched as he zipped up his backpack and slipped it on. He started walking without a single glance over at you, though he did still take small, unhappy sips of his juice. For some time, the two of you went forward in complete silence. The more ground you covered, the more serious Cove seemed to become. He hadn't looked at you or said anything in a while. He'd just taken your empty juice box away from you and stowed it away in his bag. That was it. You knew there had to be more to all this. The sun dislodged itself from its place in the sky, dipping lower and lower. The street lamps came on. It was as if they were anticipating nightfall. You tried to convince him to go back.
Hey, Cove?
Cove finally turned to look at you. You nearly chickened out, but managed to spit out the words.
It's gonna be dark soon. We should, head back.
To your dismay, he scowled and shook his head immediately.
I'm not going back. Can't.
But
what about your dad?
He'll be fine. I left him a letter. If you want to leave, you can. I'm gonna keep going. There was no changing his mind, you realized. He was doing this with or without you. You gave in and kept walking with him. You wanted to go home, but not without Cove. Leaving him all alone would be much worse.
Okay, I'm, coming with you, I guess.
His features softened the slightest bit at your response. You got the feeling he was relieved by your decision to stay. The two of you continued to trudge past the storefronts. Silence fell over you again. You had no idea how to break it, or even if you wanted to. People had said this was a really tiny town, but to you, it felt absolutely gigantic. Eventually, the business part of town ended too. There was no sidewalk anymore, only a long expanse of road. You walked along the grass instead. Not even that was enough to stop him. Onward was the only option. Your journey stubbornly continued. The hunch you had about Cove's possible destination soon became a certainty. There was only one way out of town, after all. Oh, shit. Oh, this is a cool scene, though. I like this scene. I wonder... So I'm betting I would have never saw this if I would have gone to the park. I'm betting this moment would have not happened if I would have gone to the park. Your feet hurt. You were tired. The two of you didn't have any parents with you, but somehow you had reached the very edge of Sunset Bird. That's what the sign told you. You had lived in Sunset Bird forever, and it was a very rare occasion that you'd see this sign. Most everything in your life happened inside the city limits. The endless road ahead seemed scary in a way. It paralyzed you. You glanced at Cove. You made it here just before nightfall, but now what? Outside of town, there was nothing. How would he get to where he wanted to go? Cove, however, didn't falter. He kept walking. As he neared the sign, he finally stopped. That was a relief. He took off his backpack and sat down, crossing his legs beneath him. You lowered yourself beside the boy as he zipped his bag open and rummaged through it again.
Whoa.
What snack do you want? You were almost taken aback by his voice. It had been a while since you last heard it. Pursing your lips, you recalled the snacks that he'd listed off earlier.
I want... nothing. I'm not hungry.
He nodded, then pulled out a muffin for himself. He immediately took a big bite out of the top. He peered over at your friend, stared at the path still ahead with a solemn expression. You turned away. The sun had set. Some time after Cove finished eating. Now it was dark. Apart from the faint moonlight, you watched as Cove grabbed the flashlight from his bag.
What are we gonna do? Sleep out here?
Yes.
I guess.
He was speaking defensively again. Cove flicked the flashlight on. A beam of light cut through the darkness, weakly illuminating the area you sat in. You pulled your knees up to your chest, wrapping your arms around them. You weren't cold. Summer nights were still sort of warm. You just felt like it.
Can I ask something?
Cove's focus didn't waver from the road, but he nodded.
Why do you want to leave Sunset Bird so bad?
At first, Cove was quiet. You started to think he wouldn't say anything. Then he spoke. My mom called today to check up on me and stuff. Oh, thank God. She asked what Sunset Bird was like and how I was doing. It was okay. But when I asked if she'll come here, Mom said she couldn't. I can't go back either. Not right now. She has to move somewhere else first. Cove glared at the ground. His voice cracked as he continued.
It's not fair.
Why can't I even see her anymore? He used his uncasted arm to rub both of his eyes. Damn it! I'm gonna go myself. I don't need anyone to take me.
Do you know the directions to your old house?
He just wanted to see his mom. Maybe you would have had the idea to run away too. You were Cove. But that doesn't mean it'll work. She's not there. They both left it. She's staying with somebody until she moves somewhere else.
Where's her friend's house?
Cove was silent for a moment. He poked a hole in his perfect plan. Then he shook his head, like he was trying to clear it. When he spoke some more, it was mostly to himself.
God, the soundtrack's awesome. I'm gonna keep saying it. This was an awesome soundtrack. I love this game.
If I don't go see Mom, then she's... Fresh tears glistened in Cove's red-rimmed eyes. He stubbornly tried to blink them away, but they slipped down his cheek. You frowned at the sight. No matter what, you hated seeing him cry.
Cove?
Mom doesn't call that much, and I haven't seen her in so long. Cove hiccuped, wiping his face with the back of his arm. His glasses got shoved up awkwardly as a result. If I don't go, she'll be gone. She'll forget about me.
She wouldn't do that.
How do you know?
She's your mom. She loves you.
Your mom's always said that, but it must be true for Cove's mom, too. I'm not gonna put in my 2 cents. Cove sniffled. He seemed conflicted. I'm not sure if that's right. You were at a standstill.
We can't stay here forever. We can't go out there. You've got to go back.
Cove's brow was furrowed, a scowl appearing on his lips. He turned away from you. You stared at his back. You couldn't just stop. You didn't know how to convince him, so you kept quiet, staring up at the starry sky. After a few minutes of sullen silence, Cove twisted back around. He wouldn't look you in the eye. Okay, let's go. I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't want something bad to happen. He was doing it for you. That gave you a warm feeling inside, even if you wished he didn't want to leave in the first place. And that was that. Together you walked away from the exit sign. Your feet hurt a lot by this point, and you were so tired, but you'd convinced him. You were bringing Cove home, and that's what mattered. On the long walk back, it was only thanks to the occasional street lamp and faint moonlight that you could see in the dark night. You were content to stick close together. Sometimes your drowsy walking caused one of you to almost bump into the other. The back of your hand brushed his. You held on. You noticed Cove took a hold of your hand. Cove glanced at you sheepily. His fingers curled around your palm, and you held on in response. The two of you continued down the street, hand in hand. You weren't sure how much time passed. All you knew was that one moment you were fighting, the drooping of your eyelids while shuffling near Cove on the sidewalk, and the next, you were snapped back to attention by the blaring beep of a horn. Yep, that's what I was expecting. Cove froze. You whipped around to see a car approaching you. It was difficult to make out who it was. The headlights were so blinding. Instead of continuing down the road, the car slowed near where you sat. The window rolled down, revealing the face behind the wheel. It was very familiar.
Mom?
She shouted back, and not just because there was some distance between you and her. Where have you kids been? I've been looking everywhere for you.
Sorry, Mom.
She stopped looking at you, instead staring hard straight ahead. Both her hands were gripping the wheel. In turn, Cove gripped your hand harder. This was hard to face. Guilt ate you up from the inside. Get in. Let's get you two home. That at least made her showing up worth it. Your feet were aching like crazy from all the walking you've done today. You yanked open the side door, slipped inside the back seat, then clambered over so Cove had enough room to climb in too. He followed in wordlessly, tucking his backpack near his feet. Your mom looked at you and Cove from the rearview mirror. The two of you had us extremely worried. That wasn't a good thing to do. Not at all. Shamefaced, you both nodded as one. Sorry, Miss Brocard.
Sorry, Mom.
She softened immediately. Not enough to actually let it go, though. You'll have to apologize to everyone else, too. With that, Mom started the car up again, and you were off. For the rest of the car ride, no one said anything. You thought all of you were pretty tired. In fact, you must have dozed off at some point, because you woke up to the sound of the engine stopping. When you opened your eyes, you realized Cove was looking over at you. He was tense. We're back. You yawned and got out of the car. Cove came out after, putting his backpack on again. Mom locked the car door and motioned you two towards the house. She opened the front door and let you go in first. Mommy appeared quickly. She must have been waiting nearby. There was a phone in her hand. It worried you. Think about who she might have been talking to. The tight line of her shoulders relaxed when she saw you and Cove. Oh, thank goodness! You found them both. Yes, I did. They were walking down the main street together. What were you two doing there this time of night? Do you have any idea how far that is? How unsafe? You peeked at Cove. He still looked exhausted. His eyes were puffy, and there were dry tear tracks stuck to his cheek. I had to see my mom. Aura didn't want me to go alone. Your moms shared a look. You weren't sure what it meant, but they always did that. You wondered if they could read each other's minds. Since they were communicating telepathically, you stole a glance around the house. Lizzie wasn't anywhere in sight. Where was she? She must have finished whatever she was doing that morning ages ago.
Where's Lizzie?
Your sister's in her room, fast asleep, the same way you should have been. She went out earlier to look for the two of you when she accidentally found out you were both missing. She tried to pretend otherwise, but you made her sick with worry.
Fuck. I really like Lizzie. Oh, there's bugs buzzing in the background. I just noticed that. There's like fireflies. Oh, that's cool.
Said she checked all the hiding places she could think of, but couldn't find either of you. You and Cove exchanged remorseful glances at that. Mommy noticed the discomfort.
Okay.
You two must be sleepy. You can sit down wherever you like. Mommy smiled warmly and motioned to the living room. Cove looked up at her, then lumbered over. You followed close behind. The living room wasn't far, or separated by a wall, so you heard your moms talking softly. He wanted to go see his mother. He wanted to go see his mother.
I know they're whispering, but I'm scared that my voice will not be picked up if I whisper, so just imagine they're whispering.
He wanted to go see his mother. Poor thing. Poor thing. That explains it, at least. Still, I'm not sure it excuses it. It was so dangerous to go off into town like that. He's having a hard time right now. You can't expect a child to handle it maturely. True, it can't be helped. But that's enough of that. We should tell Cliff and the others that he's here before the panic gets out of hand. There could be riots.
Is that all right?
I'll call then go to the front to tell everyone's still out there. You keep an eye on the kids. Make sure they don't take any more trips today.
Got it, Hen.
Cove just sat there on the couch, setting his backpack down beside him. He stared at his hands.
This is so weird.
What is?
Everyone was looking for me. They all know I tried to leave. I kind of want to run away and not come back this time, so I don't have to see them again.
That isn't gonna help. They'll forgive you.
Maybe.
When it seemed silence would descend upon the two of you again, the front door opened. Your mom was back with Mr. Holden close behind. He made a beeline for the couch, his gaze trained on his son.
Cove! God, are you alright?
Strands of his hair had fallen out of his ponytail. His eyes were darkened like he'd been crying, too. Cove stared up at his dad, his own eyes wide behind the frames of his glasses. He really hadn't expected it to be such a big deal.
I'm okay. Good. That's good. I'm so glad to hear.
He clasped a hand on his son's shoulder, attempting a smile, but the corners of his lips twitched and spasmed as if they wanted to wilt into a frown instead. Cove seemed to have that effect on him. Mr. Holden turned to you, still smiling weakly.
I'm so happy you're all right too, Aura.
Then he looked at your moms.
Thanks for your help, as always.
He laughed pitifully.
I'm sorry. And I'm very sorry for ruining your afternoon with this. I can't apologize enough.
It's okay.
It was no trouble, Cliff. Really, it couldn't be helped. In a way, something was bound to happen sometime. Besides, he wasn't the only one who decided it was a good idea to disappear today. Exactly. We're just happy the kids are safe and sound. Not for the first time that day, you recalled your original meeting with Cove. He had run away then, too, only not as far as he had today. Cove must have had a similar thought, because he mumbled an apology.
Sorry, Dad. I won't leave anymore. I promise.
Some life seemed to return to Mr. Holden. Thanks to his promise, this time around, his smile was more genuine.
I'm so glad.
That's a relief to hear. Next time you feel like running off, come to me first, okay? We can talk about it. I'm here for you.
Cove nodded. His dad reached out and mused his hair playfully. Although he made a face, Cove didn't try to dodge the hand as he usually did.
Let's go home, bud. Bet you're as tired as I am.
Mr. Holden took over carrying Cove's backpack, still clasping a free hand on his son's shoulder when he stooped up from the couch. The five of you walked over to the front door so you could see them off. Mr. Holden thanked your moms profusely, at least 3 more times before he walked out the door. Cove was made to follow. But he stopped and turned to you before stepping through the threshold.
Thanks.
Thanks, Aura.
You're welcome. Honey's smile flitted across his lips, there, and then gone. I'm glad you...
Nope, I'm gonna hug him, fuck that.
You hugged him. Before he was gone, you reached over to give him a hug goodbye after a hard day. He held you back more tightly than you could have anticipated, and you almost squeaked out a noise.
I don't know if the mic picked that up. I'm glad you're here.
His embrace was tight but brief. He let go as soon as he said what he wanted to. And with that, Cove left. Mommy was close. Mommy closed the door behind them. You were practically dead on your feet at that point. Your fatigue must have been obvious, because your mom sent you straight to bed with no more discussion on what happened that day. Your head hit the pillow, your eyes slipped closed on their own. Your eyelids were so heavy, you couldn't open them again until the next morning. You woke up much more at ease than you had felt when you were last conscious. It was almost like it was a dream, but it definitely wasn't. Your mom's faces when you saw them assured that. After breakfast, you were sat down, and your family went over yesterday's events in full. They were none too pleased that you joined Cove, despite knowing that he wanted to leave. As punishment, your moms took away your TV privileges for the next few days. Lizzie was annoyed that she couldn't watch her shows with you around, but she adjusted. Whenever you expressed disappointment, your moms reminded you that they weren't punishing you for no reason. It was dangerous to go out on your own so late and without telling anyone. You could have gotten hurt, or worse. As upset as you were, you understood. Mr. Holden talked to Cove about what happened too. You didn't know what was said exactly, but Mr. Holden forgave Cove immediately. He didn't do anything to punish Cove for running away. He blamed no one but himself for Cove's desire to leave home.
That's not good.
You caught your moms discussing it once in hushed tones, frowning at each other. It was pretty serious. There was a word used you hadn't heard before. Self-flagellation.
I'm pretty sure that's how you say that.
But there wasn't anything they could do to change Mr. Holden's mind. Your neighbors stopped you in Cove often for the next few weeks or so to express their concerns and disapproval of the event.
I'm glad that our neighbors are good people.
Still, as they always did, days continued to pass. So did talk about Cove running away. Things eventually returned to normal, as they had to. Summer kept going, and you kept having experiences you shared with Cove.
Okay, that was another long one. I'm going to do sleepover and the beginning of the next moment thing in the next episode together. I think that's going to be the best way to do it, because if I'm being honest, those ones were extremely long, and I'm pretty sure this episode's probably over an hour now. So yeah. Just to express a couple of thoughts before we finish off the episode. I'm glad they put the barbecue one right before the Runaway. I feel like the barbecue was a very good lead up. It showed the joy that the family could share. It showed all of the enjoyment that there was. It gave us a kind of runner-up to the Runaway part, which was a more sad thing, and I feel like it softened the blow a little. Again, kids run away. I didn't expect them to get that far, and I honestly thought that the blare of the horn was a cop, because I thought that they would have called the police, but I guess, I don't know if missing persons for children is different, but I know missing persons for adults is, like, you have to wait a couple of days for, not a couple days, but a certain amount of time or something like that. But yeah, next one's going to be sleepover, and then we're going to move on into, I don't know actually how old we're going to be. I think this game goes up to high school years, if I remember correctly, but yeah. For right now, that is where I am going to end this episode, and so I'm going to close the door on this one.